And we back. Sockboss at YouTube, welcome back to KashPiece. Today we talking top 10 pre-timeskip Haki showings. Haki wasn't the most fleshed out in the first part of the story, but that just makes these first few glimpses of what it can do all the better. Now let's get to it. For this first honorable mention, I'm going to give a quick shout out at our first looks at Advanced Armament by Sentomaru and the Bow Sisters, or the Gorgon Sisters, where they both can emit it from their hands. Duval, who's been mistaken for Sanji, rides towards Luffy on his bull motorbaro, but subconsciously Luffy uses Conqueror's Haki for the first time. Blackbeard pulled up on Luffy at Impel Down thinking shit is sweet, like he didn't just get Ace hemmed up. Luffy, having none of this, taps him up first and foremost, and Blackbeard uses observation to acknowledge that Luffy's Haki has grown. Now, at this point in the story, I don't think Oda had Haki all the way figured out, and maybe was going to use it a bit more like Ki in Dragon Ball, where Haki was a perceivable aura that other people can detect the amount of. Isa is a young Shandian girl from Upper Yard in Skypiea. She is able to use mantra or observation Haki to hear the voices of those around her. This is one of our first times seeing observation Haki being used. Oh man, Rayleigh was really flexing his Haki muscles with this one by stopping this big ass elephant with the same advanced armament that I mentioned earlier, but this was the most impressive showing and he did it with ease. Okay, now we talking about a classic. For a lot of us, this was the initial hook in the beginning of the One Piece story that made us continue with it, you know? Gotta love it. This was a nice glimpse into what can happen when Luffy's emotions are running high, and possibly alludes to another moment we'll get to a couple arcs later. The Kuja pirates of Amazon Lily are all proficient in Haki, so here we get to see that it's going to be important for Luffy to learn how to use it. Rayleigh uses his immaculate observation Haki to see just how many of the animals on Ruskaina are stronger than Luffy currently. This was one of those moments that really had me excited, knowing that Luffy was going to be a beast, learning from the Pirate King's right-hand man. This was really a mind over matter type moment. The Marines were about to play dirty, moving Ace's execution up again, but even though Luffy couldn't get to Ace in time, his will was so strong that it just took over and let his King's Haki wash over the battlefield. I think the reaction of everyone else there says enough by itself. I mean, look at the heavy hitters that are on the screen right now. In Skypiea, we get our first look at observation Haki, which again, they refer to as mantra. One of our first examples is actually one of the best uses in the series. This is a bit of cheating since Enel used his thunder fruits, the Goro Goro no Mi, to boost the range of his mantra, but it's my list, I don't really care. Enel was able to see all over Skypiea and see where every person was, listen in on conversations, and strike down any fool who dares speak against God's will. It was also very useful to him in combat as he used his mantra to predict the moves of his opponents. Now we all know how much of a beast Whitebeard was in the Marineford War arc. He hit John the Giant with a big ass Quake Fist that sent a huge shockwave headed Sengoku's way, but the three pre-timeskip admirals stopped it with advanced armament Haki. This was super tough, but since there's three of them, I'm gonna have to dock them a little bit, you know? So they're gonna sit here at number 2, but again, this was the best advanced armament feat that we saw in the pre-timeskip. See, there's a lot of great moments on this list, but for me, I love a good subtle flex, and the meeting of Shanks and Whitebeard where Shanks flexes his King's Haki and knocks a bunch of Whitebeard pirates out while pulling up with a big ass gourd full of liquor. Post time skip, we've seen Shanks pull off some pretty crazy Haki feats, so this scene just gets better and better because we all know Shanks' Haki is amazing.